Look, you can see my new nail polish. Ta-da! You getting your stuff up?
I'm getting my stuff up.
Okay.
I was like, oh, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Dear Becky and Lizzy edition.
Ta-da! I spent most of last night trying out my Olive and June home manicure set. And I was like, I did such an awesome job. I mean, it's not perfect. And then when I was going to bed and took my contacts out and could look closer, I was like when up here was actually in focus, I went, ooh, I got some cleanup to do. I did that both. You know, you can just kind of pull it off.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that when the nails were wet. And it comes with a little brush so you can take off that excess. And I thought I did that while they were still, drying and stuff. And there was still work to be done. But, at a fast gallop, as close as someone should be getting to my hands, it looks pretty good. So I'm happy. We'll see how long it lasts. I can't say, oh, it's amazing, go out and buy it, because I just tried. That doesn't mean it's, Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in very, very cold, but could be colder, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
I totally knew I was telling that whole story. I hadn't introduced myself yet. So,
okay.
Yeah.
when we say very, very cold, it's going to be in the mid-40s.
It's actually 35 out right now.
Yeah.
It was colder when I left my house.
Yeah.
I did not go for a walk this morning because I was running late and it was in the 20s and I didn't want to put a hat on my hair. It's so bad. I just washed my hair today. So, I'm vain. Oh well, get over it. So yes. Taking a deep breath. It's not super, super cold, but it poured yesterday, buckets. And that was done by midday, but over the past
stayed cold and misty.
Well, 24, 48 hours it's been really, really wet. And so there's anything that was left standing on the roads is ice.
Icy patches.
There's ice around. Not as bad as if it was raining and cold. But, there's some icy patches by our stairs that if it was over the whole thing, I'd be like, ah. But it is going to warm up. It is not as cold as right before Christmas. We will survive.
Probably.
I think so. We might suffer, but we'll survive. So, we had some questions. I feel like one of them were we going to wait on?
I'm going to read it and we'll discuss what's incoming. So, because it's,
Oh, yeah, because mine's on something too, yeah.
Yeah.
We could give people a whole ooh, ooh, ooh. But if you would like to support the shop, wait, because it's not here yet.
Yes.
So, okay.
Dear B&L, on Tuesday check-in, I think I saw Liz using one of those chain row counters. Is there any way you could do a demonstration? Thanks ever so. And
Mine's
my name
over there.
tag and my row counter are over there.
I can grab them for you. Where are they?
They're in my old office.
Old office.
Yeah, because
You have to vamp, Liz.
I have to vamp. So, yes, I was using one of those new chain row counters that Rebecca and I have been trying out to decide if we wanted to bring them in. And yes, we are bringing them into the shop. We're not sure when they're coming. They've been shipped, so...
They're in the mail.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping they'll be here. I had to get my project that I'm using it on is here. Twice Sheared Sheep is the company, the woman who makes them that we know of that we're getting them from. I think she could be the one who invented it. I have no idea. If she happens to watch this, she can tell us. So, Liz uses hers as a fidget spinner. And I feel like people last year or, were like, hey, we saw these cool things online and they're row counters that are dangly things. And do you have them? And I went, no. And she had emailed me a couple times about them, and I said no. And then shout out to Jeff. He bought us some to play with, and I said yes because they're super cute.
Because on Knit Night, Jeff was like, Liz, you don't even need pen and paper. They're fantastic. And I went, no, I need pen and paper.
Really?
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, look, the extra large one is a great fidget spinner. And
yeah, okay, so he got me the medium size. There's 4 sizes. The medium goes up to a size 8. And see, here it is. The largest one is like the XL one, which is what Liz got, goes up to a size 15. And what we mean by that, so she opened hers up and was like, I can wear it as a bracelet. And I opened mine up and went, I can't. That's okay. I like the smaller circles. What we mean is that where these circles are is where your needle goes. And you can use a crochet hook too. Ooh, let me get up my crochet hook to show that. This one goes up to a 5 millimeter. Yours goes up to a 10 millimeter. I think that's what a 15 is. There are in betweens. What I chose to, and then there's ones that only go up to like a size 4. I chose to split the difference and not get all sizes because I couldn't afford to, but to get the 2 sizes, I know my hook is in here somewhere. At least I hope it is. Oh, wait, it's out on the table. Well, I got more sleep last night. Does it show? No. Crochet hooks, you can use it too because you can have it hanging on your crochet hook while you're working and then move it. It works really well for knitting needles because you have it hanging on your cable on your needle, just like a stitch marker for your beginning of round. That's what this one is. I've got 4 places in here where I have to mark things, and this one's the beginning of round. And I'm nowhere near the beginning of round, so I can't really show how to use it.
No, the easiest, so I'm going to hold this closer so everybody can see it because it's bigger. So if you look at it, just looks like a bunch of loops and numbers, but if you hold one loop, there's a number attached to that loop.
It's like fixed, like there's a loop and a number that make one link of this chain. Is the best way to. Once I realized that, I was like, because I was like, there's a number on either side of a loop. How do you tell which one you're on? But there's one that's actually fixed to it. So like I know
one wiggles. Yeah,
I know from that I have this on the number 3, the one that wiggles with the loop, like is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And then I also have there's this removable piece, like the circular ones we're bringing in go from 0 to 9, and then there's a little removable piece like this. It's really hard to show on camera. That you can put into the bubble with a number on it that can mark your tens place. So mine is in the 1s, so I know I'm on row 13 right now. And when I get to it, when you move a stitch marker over, instead of just sliding it over, I will put it on the next loop.
Yep.
And then I will know I'm on row 14.
And as I found out using them, they work, they really work, and I don't need pen and paper. Like,
okay, you descended into mumbling range on that.
I did, because that's like, they work.
They work. They work. So
I have found that these work for me.
And the reason,
super well.
And we're only bringing in a small sampling, so we'll see. If they sell, we will get more. They are not here yet. The reason that the other reason he got them for us is they have a charm on them right at the 1-0 range, and they have dragons. So we're bringing in like some dragons and some sheep and some llamas. So they're super fun. If it comes in before next Wednesday, we'll probably do some kind of showcase on them in some way. We have, like, the other thing I held up, these just came in. And these are ergonomic, from Prim, the one, we love their ergonomic needles. We are trying out their ergonomic hooks, and so far I am liking this too. I'm going to try to get, the hooks are here. Just like the needles, they only come in certain sizes. So I'm going to try to get up the sizes we have in online. There's only like maybe an L. There's one size we couldn't get in because it's out of stock. But for everything else, if you don't see the size you want, they may not make this hook in that size. I love these hooks, but just like the needles, they don't come in every size that we would like to carry. So, but instead of trying to crochet with y'all, which will make my brain explode, but oh, by the way, so the same thing with these guys. Say I was on, this is the one that's attached to 7, and I'm crocheting along, and it's just dangling off of there. If I get to the row 8, I would take it off, and I would move it to the hook, the circle for row 8, and then I would, that way, It's a little harder to keep it on your hook if you put everything down and want to know where you were when you pick it back up again. But these can work for crochet as well, which I think is really cool. So anyway, and it's not like if you're knitting on a small needle or hook, you need to have the small size. You can, if you know that you have a wide range of needles that you knit with, you can get the big size instead. Like, you knit with mostly bigger stuff.
I knit with mostly bigger stuff, and I like the fact that I can wear it as a bracelet or fidget spinner, or, keeps my hands busy.
Yeah. So I am gonna, as we chat about other things though, I was wearing my shawl yesterday, and the ends I haven't woven in when I wore it over with a penannular. These are not in the online shop, but if we have time after talking about the other question, I might show you how these work. And maybe, I can't promise, work to get these into the online shop. These are from another artisan called Crafty Flutterby. And we love her stuff, but we have so many very unique ones. It's not like we have 5 of this and 6 of that. It's like we have like 30 and they're all different.
Yeah.
And taking pictures of all of those is really, really complicated. So, they haven't made it into the online shop. But I was wearing my shawl crisscrossed with this guy on it, and the end hanging down, like, by my waist, also had these hanging off of it, and it was just very annoying. So I'm actually going to try to weave some of my ends in. I might leave like this much showing when I clip it. I can't talk today. How is that different from any other day, right? So that I can still look at this and know how many skeins of yarn were involved in it, instead of making it completely clean, which I could. I mean, it's hard to make something 100% clean, but because it's always going to maybe unravel a little bit, but I'm going to, I think, leave them a little dangly on purpose. Like these guys, I'll leave one of them a little dangly after I weave him in on the inside, so that I know where skein 1 ended and skein 2 and skein 3. I have some projects I have not done that, and then someone says, well, how much yarn does it take? And I go, let me think about that. Yeah, because I should have labels on everything, but it's hard to have labels on them and wear them. And I've just gotten lazy with putting labels on things. And some of the labels we have on things here in the shop, the information's incorrect in that it marks if the pattern is free or pay on Ravelry and how much it is, and or that we have a kit and we don't have the kit anymore, so that there are complications. Life is not as simple as we would like it to be. What is our other question?
Our other question, and I replied in detail, and I'm just going to give a quick overview for now, but Liz, could you please provide more info about your Lana's Quick pot holders? You said you used 3 strands of Lana's Quick. What size needles did you use? What were the dimensions before felting? What needle size, etc.? Thanks. I love watching you and Rebecca on YouTube.
Sorry, didn't mean to talk over that.
So,
we love you watching too. Okay.
So, I had leftover Lana's Quick after I did Bernie's hats and from my other shawl. And so when I was home doing rest during our Christmas vacation, or post-Christmas vacation, I was like, let me just knock out some quick pot holders. And so I did them on size 19 needles, even though my pot holders that I did on the Yana XL were on 17s.
Okay, so you have 3 strands of this and a bigger needle.
Yes.
Than the single strand of a much bigger yarn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did one with 4 strands, and it's more of a trivet than it's still malleable, but it's thicker.
Is that your 4-strand one?
This is the 4-strand one, and it just, for a pot holder, I mean, it's still malleable, but it's thick and dense.
So you're saying it got really thick and dense.
It got really thick and dense, because if you make something, felting is weird. Like, if you want it to have more room between the stitches to felt down, then logically makes sense. So I did one on the same needle with 3 strands, and it's still, I can use it to pull pans out of the oven, where this is a little bit unwieldy when I did the 3 strands. I cast on like 15 stitches, and this one I did 11 ribs, so 22 rows, and then bound off. And
go ahead, you finish.
I don't remember what the dimensions were before I checked it in the wash. Mm-hmm. I was just knocking things out, like, ooh, look, I have leftover yarn, let me just,
and you have different colors in different places.
Yes, because I had 2 strands of gray and 1 strand of blue, and then I ran out of blue right there, and so I did pink, or the grapefruit, and
so that's what marling looks like.
Yep.
When you felt.
You
kind of have a funky colors in funky places, and yeah.
Yep. I washed them in the hot wash twice, like I stopped it before the rinse to make sure they got down as tight as I wanted them. And then I checked them in the dryer on high for like an hour. And I know that sounds like they should have been dry, but I pulled them out and they were still damp. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So I let them just air dry overnight. But the 3 strands is more malleable and bendy than, and I've used it as a pot holder at home, pulling pans out of the oven and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good use for leftovers, and just quick and easy. So
if you're wondering what to do with your scrappies,
yes, if you're gonna make pot holders out of scrappies, make sure they are, and you want to felt them, make sure they are not superwash, because the superwash won't felt down. So
we've heard you can steek with non-superwash. Haven't tried it ourselves, but you can't really felt with superwash, because superwash has removed all the stuff that is supposed to grab and felt and do. That's the whole point, right? Oops. I'm just realizing I wove this in on the right side, so I have a thing sticking up on the right side. I'm gonna have to stick that. I knew that was gonna happen. Like doing stuff on camera while trying to talk. It's I do a little bit better on my tips and tricks channel. I do occasionally when I'm doing things and talking and not totally thinking about what I'm saying, I will say words wrong. And if I catch that when I'm editing, I will put a little subtitle saying, I meant to say this here, or I will actually take the word out if possible. It sounds a little funny sometimes when I take out a word in a random place. But I don't want to mislead people if I can at all help it. So those were our 2 questions, right?
Those were our 2 questions.
Okay. We have plenty of time left.
I know.
What are we going to do?
We can fill it.
Huh?
We can fill it.
With what? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. We got some new stuff in. We got new scissors in.
Are we both using them right now? They're like, oh, look how fancy. They're from Lantern Moon, and they are snipping quite well. It's interesting, like, that the handles are, like, huge with fancy designs, but I'm finding that, if I put my fingers in, these 2 fingers, if I put my middle finger in, these 2 fingers are actually in a really nice, like, that's a comfortable way to hold them. Yeah. With the excess that's there, it actually is feeling almost ergonomic.
Can you use them left-handed?
I don't use scissors left-handed.
Right. I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, here's the thing. You see what happened was, I am left-handed. I'm sure you can use them left-handed, but the issue with scissors being right or left-handed is actually in how they are crisscrossed. And so I think you might have the same issues left-handed with it. Let's try. The reason I had to relearn how to use scissors, like I learned to use them with my right hand, even though I'm left-handed, is because they wouldn't cut right in my left hand, because the way the bars are set together and the way your fingers push, like your thumb pulls this way. And, well, I'm looking at this, and actually that may not be the case with these. What I felt like using scissors when I was a kid, or maybe it's because your thumb actually doesn't pull, it pushes. When you do this, your thumb is pushing that way as a righty, right? And the way that scissors are put together, that forces the blades to really compress and snip. And so when you put them in your left hand with, the kid scissors I was using, the pushing with your left hand, your thumb this way, means instead of pushing the blades together, it actually separates them a little bit. And so it depends on.
I have a place to cut if you want to.
Okay, so I'm going to try this. That's still cut even with my left hand. I don't know if it was as crisp.
It didn't cut as crisp, but it still cut.
That's the reason why scissors might be really kind of foobar for left-handed people, and why I just naturally cut with my right hand now. Like, that's my random trivia for people for today. Is why scissors are difficult, like why left-handers have a tougher time with products, period. And this, even if you flip it around, the scissors are still put on like this way. They need to be put on this way. I know that doesn't sound like the top one that your thumb goes in needs to be the blade right on this guy. The one that your thumb is going to go in, the blade is on the left. And the bottom one, the blade is on the right. And for it to really be crisp and sharp and everything else for a lefty, they need to be the opposite. The blade on the top hole, the blade needs to be on the right. And the bottom hole, it needs to be on the... That's how left-handed scissors are different from right-handed scissors. And I'm pretty sure if we looked at every single pair of scissors we have in the shop, they're set up for right-handed people.
Most all the lefties that I know, like my whole family is lefty, they all learn to cut with their right hand because it's just easier to find scissors.
You'd have to do is to cut kind of unnaturally, pulling your thumb towards yourself, which is hard to do because if you put your thumb in, your knuckle wants to push. So that's my random learn something new and impress your friends and neighbors thing, if you didn't already know it. Like, I'm a lefty, but it's just natural to have scissors in my right hand. Which, this is the crazy thing, is not all left-handers, but most lefties learn to be a little bit ambidextrous because of the world we live in. And I'm sure there are some righties who hear this and are like, I don't get it. But not as many righties have to learn to use their left hand for things.
I know I keep bringing this up, and yesterday we had somebody who needed their yarn wound, and they were standing in the spot that Rebecca needed to wind yarn, and she was like, oh, I could do it. And I'm like, no. And she's like...
No, she didn't say that, but we talked about how people do.
Yeah. And I'm like, the biggest problem is it's set up left-handed, and most righties are like, well, if I stand at a different angle, I can do it. And I'm like, no, because
your right hand,
you've got to hold tension still, and, you can, but it ends in sadness. And
I feel like that's one of your favorite things to impress friends and neighbors with, is I can wind left-handed.
I wind yarn left-handed because my right arm has no experience doing that on a winder. Like, for the last 5 years, I've lived in a lefties world, and so I can't wind yarn on a winder right-handed. Even at home, I have to set it up left-handed.
Aww.
So that I can wind yarn, because my right arm doesn't have the muscle memory, the muscle whatever to do it.
It's weak.
Yeah, it's like, no, what is this?
Here's the benefit, though. I was just sewing with my left hand, and I don't even have to let that go to come in, and I'm going to leave them long so I can tell where they were to snip this with my right hand. Yeah, that is, I think, a little crisper cutting with my right hand than my left. So these are, as most scissors are, set up for a right-handed person. They're sharp enough, they'll work lefty. They may not be as crisp, though. And they come with this cute case. Like I said, Lantern Moon is putting out new products. We're bringing them in a little bit at a time. I should do this. They come with this cute leather case. We sell ones that are colorful from Bryson that have a case. It doesn't have a full cover. It just has the sleeve. And they're like $7.50, right? These are fancier. These have a hand-stitched leather case. I mean, I think it might not be hand-stitched. With a snap And I think that's a magnetic snap too.
Yeah, there's a magnet and a snap all kind of...
all together, right?
Yep.
And the tassel-y thing is still on this. They're $24.95 for the whole thing. So considerably more expensive than the Bryson ones we have, but more like all-encompassing case, a lot more material to the handle part. If anything, the blade might be shorter. They're about the same size or shorter.
The blades are about the same size as my preemie.
As your preemie ones that we haven't been able to get back in the shop for a
so
while,
it's got
really
a shorter snip. But I will say that the ends of the scissors, they're pointy, but they're not as sharp as the preemies.
Okay.
Like,
which, it's kind of hard to get them quite as sharp as that.
The blade is sharp, but the very end point is not. So
they are really made for yarn rather than embroidery or things like that, but they are super, super cute.
I'd say they're made for yarn and embroidery and even fabric, but not like paper cutting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, you don't really want to cut what you used to cut fabric and yarn and embroidery floss and stuff. You don't want to cut paper with too, because that can dull your blades. Yeah. So, but for the little snippies at the ends, if you need something that needs to get through a firmer surface, you would want something other than these scissors.
Like there's German paper cutting or whatever, where you need to get a very, exact snip in there. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that these, but
guess what? That's not what our store sells.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're trying to buy things for different crafts than what we offer, no, it might not overlap. The other thing we got in, let me sew this end in because I just threaded it. Is we got in some cute little travel sewing kits from Boheen that we have. Sewing and talking is kind of not working.
Do you want me to go get one?
No, I have one over here. I haven't opened it yet. It's going to be the floor sample for the shop.
Oh, cool.
Boheen, we've got some really cute tape measures from them that you'll find online. With animals on them and stuff. And they are more of a sewing supplier. And I put the scissors away and now I need them. So we got this really cute travel kit. Since we don't really have a lot of sewing, but sometimes people want sewing stuff. So this is our little kit. It's the Paris one. It's got a cute little girl walking up to the Eiffel Tower with all the little street lamps and stuff. It's called Secrets Couture. It's not really French, but there's French on the back. So it's like both English and French. I don't know. Anyway, we're not trying to be that froofy. I'm going to use my new scissors to open the package. It's a really nice pack, and I think I'm going to make it my Knitting Notions pack. Oh, there you go. It is $34.95 is what we are selling it for. And I'm just going to show you everything that's inside. This is not quite a VSC. I know we're talking about products, but it's because we think there's on a non-product day. They're not on sale, but we think they're super cute. And so we said this is fabric, right? The cover, it's structured with fabric sewn over it. That's got the prints on it. And it's got another one of those snappies here. This is more of a snap, like an old-fashioned snap than a magnetic snap. It's the same on front and back, and then when you open it, ta-da! The packaging says what's inside of it, so you can tell me if I miss anything, maybe. It has a pair of scissors as well. My scissors have a little cap on the end, maybe so it doesn't damage. That's how they all come. Okay. Yeah. Little bitty cap. Like, I don't know these things. It's a basic sturdy pair of scissors. Yet again, I think they're made for righties, but that's okay. It's about the same size as the fancy ones we sell, but they're not fancy as part of this. I should do like ta-da. So we've got the scissors. We have a little tape measure.
It goes to 60 inches.
60 inches. Little rubber band around it. It's adorably, it's a flexible tape measure. It's not a retractable, but it's a flexible tape measure, which is really good for sewing and measuring. Talk to me about this, Liz, because I'm not sure what this is.
One braiding kit, and I'd use it to stick needles and safety pins, and a lot of old-timey sewing kits had like a piece of felt or something to stick all of your needles and stuff in, because you don't want them just flowing around.
Okay, so so this is how long it is. It is a woven, funky little thing, and I'm sure there's sewers out there that are like, I know what that is, like, duh, but you know. So yes, it comes with also in here bunch of teeny tiny sewing needles, and I could see how once you take them out of here, you may want to stick them in here so you can find them again and not poke yourself.
There are 20 needles.
Wow.
And a needle threader.
It wants me to like recycle the outside fabric package. Wow. Yes, there is a needle threader in here. Someone came in looking for a really small needle threader like this. We don't sell them in the shop, but they are part of this kit. I don't know if someone would want to buy the whole kit just for the needle threader, but that comes in here too. And then 3 safety pins.
3 safety pins.
So, this is a substantial little case here that you could put more needles, other things in, but I think it's great that it's just big enough to hold these scissors.
I like the tins that we have are fantastic, but some of my gadgets need slightly more room, and I like that this has slightly more room.
That's another thing we're bringing in from Twice Sheared Sheep is a couple of tins. We'll see what size they are when they get here. But if anyone's interested, we have limited supply of this. We've got our floor model and maybe one other. If you'd like a super cute little travels, like I said, it was what, $34.95, I think, something like that. It's on the thing.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the little bit of VSC, but it's not really VSC because it's not on sale. But we're just excited to have these products in the shop and test them and tell you what we think of them and all that kind of stuff. And right now I'm sewing my ends in on this guy. I have a couple that are in the middle. That's going to be fun. But and what I do with garter, I've got videos, I think, on sewing ends in and what I like to do with garter and other things. And I really just use the purl bumps and go up and down and back and forth. I don't try to dig in. I keep my ends kind of floating over the surface when I weave them in, if that makes sense. It might not, but, you know. Oh, and this has a knot on it. What? So, I don't know. What else do we want to talk about today? We actually, it's really close to the shop needing to open. I just looked up at the clock and went, ooh! We have killed
used time.
I will show you how to use the penannular shawl pins, because I kind of teased that earlier today. Let me see if I can I want to crisscross these. That's the first thing I do to make sure I don't have a hole, is where the ends are. I take one through where the other one ends, and I crisscross them and go in the other direction, which might not make any sense right now when you can't see what I'm doing. But I do a little crisscross, and then I follow the track of the yarn as best I can. But with garter, I don't follow the exact track the yarn took. I kind of go up and down and back and forth. I make little triangles with the purl bumps. And I think I have a video of my tips and tricks with that. This little guy is awesome, though, because he looks like he might not be sturdy enough to hold together a big shawl like this. But let me show you. When we're going to use, we've got a circle with an opening in it, and we've got a rod. And I make sure the rod can actually go through that opening, can go like this through the opening. And so I make sure the circle is on the outside of what I'm pinning. And I don't know if she's coming for us. You want to go see? And this is 2 layers thick. I take the pin in and out. So I've taken it back towards me and out towards you. Hello. And then I'm going to take the circle, and I'm going to bring the pin forward through the circle, and then I'm going to turn this. And then it is super pretty, and it holds even this stuff. If it was super, super bulky, I'm not sure how well it will hold. But the penannulars are going to work better. We have some that have swirlies top and bottom, and you have to stick it through the swirly and through your shawl and back up through the swirly. And this one is kind of neat because, and again, to take it off, I line it up, I open it up, and I take it off. This one, you don't have to stick it through the reinforcing part of it and the shawl. You just got to go shawl, shawl, take your circle over, and twist. It's kind of cool. If I can get these up online, I will, but I really can't promise anything. So we got... That's the toy. We can't do a box opening. I wish we could. We don't have time. I have a lesson coming. But that is twice sheared sheep. That is the row counters we've been talking about. So we will do our best, at least by next Wednesday, to get them up online. But stay tuned. Watch another day to see what we got from twice sheared sheep. It'd be awesome if we could just do an unboxing video, but I don't think we're going to have time.
Yeah.
So I know y'all would probably love that. We'll try to get it for maybe when we finally do get around to opening this, I'll try to film some of it so we can show y'all, but it'd have to be a quiet moment in the shop, and we just don't know if that's going to happen today. So subscribe if you haven't already. We're at 1370-ish plus. We're trying to get to 1,500 for our next online subscriber sale. We were going to talk about the sale next week, but we haven't decided on... Did we decide how much it's going to be?
Let's do our normal, how much it's going to be.
What is that, 20?
5.
Yeah. Apparently it's 25% off. We want to have a sale. We have to decide the code right now, too, then. Because I haven't decided the code yet. This is what happens when we get tired and run out of time for things.
The code will be in the description
of this video?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the deal. Is according to how we've been numbering videos, this is 298 for our sideshows. Not our VSCs. Like, if you look at all of our videos, we're well over 300. But we're going to hit, by our official numbering count, episode 300 next week. So we thought we would have a sale on, it's probably going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So it'll be in shop and online, and we'll have a code that will get you 25% off your purchase. It won't apply to pre-orders like our Viking shirt that we still need more people to order so we can print them. We're so close, but we still, if you're waiting, please order that so we can print it. It won't be part of the 25% off, but for 3 days next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will have a code that will get you 25% off because we've hit 300 episodes. And honestly, the code will probably be something like 300 episodes, but look in the description since we haven't made that official yet.
Look in the description if you want to get a jump on everybody who's waiting till Tuesday to find out what the code is, because we'll mention it again on Tuesday.
But our videos go up midday, right?
Yeah. Read the description.
Read the description. So it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That will be January 31st, February 1st, and 2nd. We will be having a 25% off sale. Only for YouTube people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, YouTube only. Yay!
Just because you watch us, you get to save. Yay! And we have to go because it's 10 o'clock. But we have virtual sit and stitch tomorrow night, Friday, from 7 to 9 p.m. Get into Zoom with the shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
There we go. Okay. Now that I wasted all that time. Bye! Have a good weekend.